I kept my phone face down the night my sister walked down the aisle because I knew he'd call. And when it finally buzzed across my dressing table at 2:17 a.m., I answered. Because I am not the hero of this story. I am the secret. My name is Olivia, and before you judge me, know this. What I felt didn't begin as desire. It began as light, quiet, golden, almost pure, spilling through a door we both should have closed. He was my sister's fiancé, Ethan. From the first moment, he was charm wrapped in gentleness. He laughed at my sarcasm, remembered the tiniest things I said, and had this way of looking at you like he was listening with his whole soul. I told myself, respect boundaries. Be the good sister. And for a while I was. But love is subtle. Starts with little coincidences. Shared joke. A harmless text. A thank you that lingers too long. Then one day he said, "You understand me," and something inside me answered before I could silence it. 2 weeks before the wedding, my sister Hannah asked me to help him choose cufflinks. In the reflection of a store mirror, I saw the two of us side by side. Two people who shouldn't fit but somehow did. When his hand brushed mine, it was just an accident. But that tiny touch left a scar only I could feel. The night of the wedding, I smiled for the photos. Danced. Hugged her. I told her she looked beautiful. But when Ethan looked at me across the crowd, just once, it was 1 second too long. That was all it took. At 2:17 a.m. my phone buzzed. Answered. He whispered, "Thank you for loving my wife the way you do." Then after a pause, "I wish I'd met you first." I didn't respond. I only breathed. But sometimes breathing is an answer. That night we didn't crash at night. The calls became a habit. First once a week. Then twice. Always late when Hannah was asleep. We never said anything wrong. But we said everything beautiful. He told me about work, his dreams, the poems he never shared with her. I told him about my fears, my writing, my loneliness. Every call ended with good night. But good night sounded too much like stay. I tried to set rules. No texting on Sundays, no calls before midnight, never meeting in person. But boundaries mean nothing when your heart has already crossed them. One rainy night the power went out. The whole city was dark and quiet, and my thoughts were too loud. He called, his voice trembling. "Hannah's at the hospital again. I'm near your neighborhood. Can I come by? Just to talk?" I should have said no. I said, 15 minutes. He showed up drenched, smelling of rain and regret. We sat on the couch, far apart, pretending distance was virtue. He told me about his father, how he missed being young and fearless. I told him I didn't know who I was anymore. When the lights flickered back, I saw the truth in his eyes. We were both lost, searching for warmth in the wrong direction. He reached for my hand. I moved it away. He smiled sadly and said, "Thank you for saving me from myself." I wanted to believe him. Matey. He left before it got cold. A week later Hannah called me. "Liv, did you write about Ethan in your journal?" My throat closed. She'd found an old notebook I'd left in my childhood room. "I had a crush," I said quickly. "It's over. I was stupid." She sighed. "I know my husband. He chose me. And you're my sister. Let's just forget it." Her forgiveness broke me more than her anger would have. That night Ethan called again. "She trusts you," he said quietly. I whispered, "I don't trust me." Then I heard it, the sound of a second voice in the background. "Ethan." It was Hannah. The line went dead. The next morning she asked to meet. We sat by the lake, the wind cutting between us. She looked calm, but her eyes told the truth. "He dreams aloud, Liv," she said softly. "He said your name." I wanted to deny it to protect her. But I couldn't. "We talk," I admitted. "Too much. Too late." But it never went further. She nodded. "Then let it end here. Block him. And forgive yourself enough to stop living like a villain. You're my sister before you're his almost." Her grace undid me. That night I texted him. "This is the last call we'll ever have. Don't answer." He called anyway. His voice was quiet, broken. "I loved you before I knew I was loving you. It should have been you." I said. "It wasn't. And that's what makes it real." He asked, "How do I live with that?" "By honoring what you chose," I whispered. "And letting me go." Silence filled the line. Then he asked one last thing. "What was this, Liv? Tell me so I can bury it." "It was hunger," I said. "Beautiful, starving hunger. And we mistook it for love." Hung up. Blocked his number. Sat in the dark until the quiet became mercy. If you've ever loved someone you shouldn't, you'll understand. The real courage isn't in staying strong. It's in letting go before you destroy what's still pure. Some nights, I still feel the ghost of that phone vibrating at 2:17 a.m. But I don't reach for it anymore. I whisper to the silence, "We are not answering." And that's the truest love I've ever given anyone. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments, what would you have done after that first call? Don't forget to subscribe to Secret Woman Stories for more emotional, true-to-life confessions every week. Tap the bell icon so you never miss the next one. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones we never meant to live.